Hello guys! Welcome to another video. Yes, you join me in my desk area again with my laptop in front of me. So kind of an update video and edit session. Yes, so update is Lightroom videos are coming back to the channel. Yes, wow, very excited about this, to continue this series on my channel. As some of you guys know, some of the old subscribers, I did quite a lot of these Lightroom tutorials, videos and stuff to do with Instagram, posting your photos to Instagram, using Lightroom to edit your photos. So I feel like I should kind of continue this frequent uploads of tutorials that I'm going to bring back, kind of maybe a few a month, 3 or 4 videos a month on this topic, editing, Lightroom. So reason being is because recently kind of every day really, I get comments through to my DM saying, oh, when are you going to do another Lightroom tutorial? When are you going to do an edit tutorial and all this about presets, about how you edit your style and your tones. Please can you give me a little bit more insight? So I'm surprised I still get these comments because I've done so many videos on Lightroom. But yeah, you guys want them. Also, obviously the new followers that come, they want to see the stuff as well, and possibly the other ones, they want updated videos. So here we are, Lightroom tutorials coming back on the channel, yes. This video is kind of like an update, kind of edit session, as I mentioned, and the previous video I did on Lightroom was, I don't know, a few months ago now. I think, was it this year? I can't even remember. Now it was how to edit presets, and I did like an editing kind of session there, edit with me. I chose 3 photos from Mount Tam, which is just up from San Francisco, and I went through them and edited them. I just had a chat really, just a chill. So this is going to be the kind of same kind of video. I'm going to choose a photo from Florence. We stayed in Florence, right in the centre, and then we travelled out to the coast, which is northwest up from Florence. Yeah, on the west side of the coast of Italy, you would find Cinque Terre, which is like an area which consists of 5 centuries old fishing towns, which are really, really cool. You get kind of these colourful houses right on the edge of the rocks. It's really insane stuff. I've chosen one from Manarola. They're all kind of similar, but they all kind of have their kind of unique differences between the towns. Manarola and Vernazza are the best ones, by the way, to visit. I'm gonna roll the screen recorder. So this is back to the days. Screen recorder on, camera on, edit session. Let's do this. Okay, we are recording. This is Lightroom. Lightroom Classic CC I'm using. Yeah, I'm using Lightroom Classic, not Lightroom CC. I prefer Lightroom Classic. That's the one I've been on since 3 or 4 years ago. And by the way, the first Lightroom video I did was like a good 3 years ago. The first year I launched my channel, I did a Lightroom video in there on how I edit my Instagram photos. So that's where the kind of trend has come from for this channel. Here we are. This is the image I was talking about, the coast and the town of Manarola. I hope I'm saying that right. To all the Italians watching out there. This is the lovely Cinque Terre. As I said, you've got all the colourful houses on the right on the side of the rock there. It's so crazy. And people actually still live in these houses, which is insane. All right, we've got some nice clouds in the photo, got some nice blue. It's kind of exposed properly. And when I say properly, I mean as seen, the photo. This wasn't underexposed for the purpose of editing. I mean, when I'm out shooting, that doesn't really occur to me to well, I said this in my other video, so sometimes I do underexpose. Say if I want the foreground, I'm thinking about post here when I'm editing. If I want the foreground to be in detail, and say that if there's an epic sunset behind, I want that exposed as well. I will then underexpose, so that the subject, say it's a person, it's dark, and then in post I can brighten up the person and maintain the exposure in the back, so it's not completely kind of whited out, if you get what I'm saying. If I expose for the person in front, the background will be completely white and I would lose everything in the back. So when you're shooting sunset or sunrise, or when you're shooting kind of golden hour, nice afternoons and stuff where the sun is coming quite low, always expose for the sky. And if you have a beast of a camera, I know Sony's are very good at this at the dynamic range, you can bump up those shadows and you can get your subject back in detail. So that's a good point to remember. Right, so yeah, back to this end, it's kind of normal exposure, I would say. Yeah, and sorry in advance for my laptop making a horrendous noise, because I'm rendering the video screenshots, screen grabs, each time I kind of do a section of this, so it might get a little bit loud. But yeah, not much I can do about that. So yeah, let's look at the white balance. The white balance is this temperature bar here. If you're shooting raw, it would display the actual Kelvin number. So yeah, this is quite blue at the moment, so I'm going to bring some some warmth back in it. Tint, at the moment I'm going to leave for a minute. Exposure, so as I said, it was exposed kind of correctly for the day. I'm going to bring it down a little bit because I want to add some mood into the photo. Contrast I'm not going to touch yet. Highlights, now you can bring these down to get more detail, but as you see down below where the waves are, where the water is, where it's nice and white, if you bring the highlights down too much, it's going to kind of lose that essence with how bright they are. So I'm not going to bring it down that much. Shadows, it's kind of thing, it depends on the photo really. If you kind of want mood, you bring the shadows down, and then later on with the brush tool you would go around and brush where you want to pick out the brightness of the subject if you want to go back and brighten it to make it more interesting. Or shadows, I don't really like kind of editing in this style to bring the shadows all the way up. It kind of makes it quite flat. So to maintain some mood, as you saw there, with some nice darks, I'll keep the shadows down. Whites doesn't really do much. We can adjust this using the tone curve in a minute. Clarity, as you can see, we've got a quite dense detail going through the water. Normally with coast shots you don't need to add that much clarity, and with the rocks as well, they look already kind of really sharp and crisp, so probably going to leave the clarity like that. Sometimes I do lower the clarity just to get that kind of milky, dreamy look to the photo. Dehaze, don't really mess with that. Saturation and vibrance, I don't touch that until after the whole image is done. I like to do that last. Now tone curve, this is the big man, this is the big boy. This is gonna, if you're posting on Instagram and you want your feed to tie in, tone curve is the one that's king, okay? It is right at the top for maintaining photos. For one photo to look like the next one, tone curve will really help you there. So with this, it doesn't matter if you're taking a picture of a cat or the coast. If you use the same curve on the photo, the two are going to look the same editing wise, okay? So with the tone curve, it's known as a general rule to make an S out of the tone curve, so you would pull down somewhere here, you'd push up where the midtones are, and push up a little bit further in the highlights, and then I tend to do this quite a lot. It's not kind of a necessity to do this, but if your photo is too harsh, if the light's too harsh, you bring down the highlights. It doesn't really do much in this photo, but if I had a really kind of white background and it was really, really harsh to the eye, I would bring down the highlights just to give it that faded look. It works the same as when you put up the blacks here to get that faded look. It works the same as the highlights, okay? So that's the thing to remember. Now the photo doesn't look as good now because I've just done the general S, so you've got to tweak it your own way. Over in the presets, I have my tone curve set, so I'm going to pick that, and now it's only got 2 points. This is just to maintain the photos throughout my feed. So as I mentioned earlier, tone curve is key for maintaining your photos with the same style. So I put the point here at 14%, and this one at 28. Mainly it's only this one to get the same kind of fade in the photo, just to make my photos look the same. And then I'll bring up this slightly, the midtones, maybe push some of the highlights to get the clouds out there, nice, and we'll leave that. So that photo, I mean, now the photo is looking pretty decent. You've got some mood here, you've got some warmth coming back in, and you've got some actual mood. With the before photo, it looks kind of flat, and it kind of looks like it ain't been specced yet, okay? So this photo, we're getting somewhere with this edit. Hue, saturation, luminance, these are another key factor with your kind of maintaining your feed throughout your Instagram, or a set of photos if you don't use Instagram, just if you're editing a set for a client. This will help you maintain the kind of look and aesthetic you're going for in that set of photos. Yes, so HSL, short for hue, saturation, luminance. This is so important. For anyone getting into editing, you really need to knuckle this down and find where your kind of style is going to be within the HSL, because this is going to determine what your overall photo is going to look like. So with this, play around with absolutely everything, okay? So hue. When I first started using Lightroom, I went through each and every one of these on every single photo I edited and see what they actually did. And nowadays I can actually tell what the orange is actually going to change in the photo and what it's going to give off. It just takes practice, you know, on saturation, also with luminance, how luminance brings up certain colours in the photo you're editing, and so forth, and etc, okay? So with the hue, as you can tell in this photo, there's a lot of blue, so the blue tab is going to do the most here, and also the orange and yellow, somewhat red as well. So if we toggle the blue tab to the left, you're going to get this kind of turquoisey look in the sky. Not that much of a fan, to be honest, all the way to the left, because it just looks kind of a bit tacky to me anyway. So I don't really like taking this too far. Maybe 10 to 20, minus 10 to 20 is what I like to go to. With the aqua, as you see down the bottom of the right hand corner, it changes the colour of the ocean because it has a lot of green in it where the waves are crashing against the rocks. If you want to bring back some colour there, you can dial it down a little bit, or to keep it blue you can go right over to the other side. Now orange is going to change obviously the buildings and the rocks. So yeah, you get the vibe from what the hue tabs do, okay? So it changes the hue of the colour. The other side of yellow goes green and the other side goes kind of a pinky colour. If you want to achieve the orange and teal look or that kind of turquoisey orangey look, you smash yellow all the way to that side and you smash the blue all the way to that side, and you go right down here and you smash the blue and you smash that, oh no, the other way, you smash that the other way. There you go. I did that in 2 seconds. I mean, when people post these photos on Instagram with that and they go, oh my god, your editing is so amazing, they literally did 2 things, right, to get that. Ugh, this looks hideous. Do you not agree? I'm not dissing any people that kind of edit like that, but I'm just telling you, behind the computer, it doesn't take that much to do that, okay? If you want that look, you can do it with two clicks, okay? What I'm here to do is kind of more in depth and get your photo really looking nice, really pops, so people scroll through Instagram, they stop. Okay, nice. That's nice. That's a nice edit, bro. Thanks. Fire emojis. Emoji, okay? So yeah, back to the hues. So if I dial this down a tiny bit, I don't go too ham with these. I don't go too hard on these. Because I don't want my photos to look unnatural. I mean, like I just showed you, that is very, very unnatural. You're not going to find that. You're not going to find that anywhere in the world looking like colours like that. It just doesn't happen. So the saturation is the same again. Play with all of these. I mean, just go through them, smash them about everywhere, and see what they actually do. That's the best way to learn how to use the HSL tabs and Lightroom in general. Is just press everything, yeah? Okay. So the orange, that's going to do stuff on the rocks. Yellow again. So I'm desaturating these, and with the aqua tab you can see down the bottom you get that nice green coming through at the bottom there, so I'm going to heighten that. Now with the blue, this is my signature kind of tones, or like my go-to when I'm editing. I bring down the blue. Okay, now we've got a nice kind of, I mean some people might not like it, but I really like it. Desaturated blue just gives it that edgy kind of vibe to it. Alright, so we're on to luminance now, which plays kind of a big role as well. I think everything I've mentioned plays a big role, but this is how it is, you know, all these factors, all these little things, even make a few little tweaks, all adds to the end product, doesn't it? The end result. So orange, as you can tell, is brightening the houses and some part of the rock. I guess I'll leave that. Doesn't look too bad how it is, that's fine. I'll probably only use the kind of orange and yellow luminance when you're kind of editing a portrait. If they're skin tones are really, really bright, you can bring them down in the orange and yellow, and also the red with the lips and stuff works quite well with that. But that's for another video. Aqua, see there on the bottom, you can get some more detail out of there, or darken it a little bit. Like that, looks nice. Now the blue, take down the luminance on the blue, okay, or brighten it. Whichever way I'm feeling, it kind of depends on what I'm editing. For this one, I think because it's on a bright day, we'll take it up. Now, split toning. You're going to guess what I'm going to say next. Is another big factor to your editing. Split toning. I use this sometimes and I sometimes don't. If I'm doing a set of photos, then yes. If I want a photo to tie in with my feed, yes, to kind of get the same vibe from it. If anything, I do it kind of at a really, really low end. I don't kind of go, all right, I want yellow in the highlights, bam, 50%, and I want kind of blue, turquoisey in the shadows, bam. That's going to look hideous. Or vice versa. Doesn't look that great, does it? Maybe possibly it works better in nighttime photography when you've got a lot of lights around, neon signs and stuff like that, it works. But yeah, when you're kind of editing outside in daylight, I mean if it is your editing style then yeah, but I don't tend to go higher than kind of 10, 15 on the saturation. So with this one, we're going to pump some, as I said, yellow into the sky, and let's add some kind of orange in the foreground. Or another one I like to use is purple in the foreground, which is around 300, which looks quite cool. Not too much, see I'm only going 2 there. Okay, so as you see we've got some mood, kind of a more edgy look to the photo. As we go along, I'm going to bring that down slightly a little bit. Okay, sharpening, if you've got a camera which does 42 megapixels, you don't really need to touch this. I just sharpen it a tad more for Instagram, because Instagram does lower the resolution when you post on there. That's the thing to remember. Noise reduction, we're not going to use that because it's a coastal shot. If you go noise reduction on a coastal shot, it's just going to look shit. With the water, it's just going to make it look really kind of smooth, which you don't really want when you're editing water. So we'll leave that out. This is the vignetting. Again, personal preference, you can do this. I like to add a little bit, not too much grain. Yes, I like that. I like the old kind of vintage look and the kind of softer look. Softer look. So around 30 for that. Okay, so now, hasn't changed that much. I've just added some mood. I've brought about some texture in the rocks there because I think the before photo was too kind of bright, kind of lost kind of the edge of it. So that's what we're working with. I do like to spend more time on it, but for the sake of this video, doing it very quickly. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I'm just gonna tweak the tone curve a little bit, give it some more contrast, pull this down a tad. Yeah, there we go, get more colours out. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Like that. I used to do very, very soft edits, like still like that, but now I'm kind of swaying towards more kind of blacks and more of a contrast in my photos. That looks pretty good. Now at the very end I like to tweak the saturation. Once I'm done with the basic tools and everything through underneath as well, saturation is the last thing I like to do. And if it looks okay I'll leave it, but this one I'll just lower it a tad. And also contrast, I like to do that last. If it needs a little bit more oomph, I can add that in there. So there we go guys, that's pretty much it on that image. I'll probably even post this one tonight actually. Just want to show you the split screen. Split screen, there you go. So that's before and after. So it's kind of, it's going to have that cinematic grade on it. Warmed it up a little bit and kind of made it not so flat. So there we go, that's the before and after. And if you see on the left hand side, you can see your history here. All these adjustments have been made. Now, don't get intimidated by all this. When you come to edit your photos or stuff, you don't have to follow this exactly. This is all kind of how you go through the process of editing your photo. I mean, you might even have more than this on here. And it's not a chore. Editing is fun. I mean, some people see it as a chore. I've got to edit my photo. It's a hobby of mine. I like doing it. So another thing I want to mention, which is very important, when you're editing, always remember to put full brightness on your laptop or phone or tablet or whatever you're editing on. Because this is the reason. So when you're scrolling through Instagram or if you're on a website or anything, if you edit a photo and your brightness looks like this, okay, and then someone else's brightness is like this, they're going to see the photo like that, okay? Not that exaggerate, but it's going to be too bright for the actual screen. So remember, always edit on full brightness. I think that's it. I'll bung the before and after on the screen right now so you can have a look in more detail. Side by side. So yes guys, there we have it. There is my editing session done. It's going to be a long video, no doubt, but I'm very excited to carry on these series of videos, the Lightroom tutorials. I just feel like it's a cool thing to do, because I know you guys ask for it all the time, every week, every day, in my DM saying, you know, I want a Lightroom tutorial, I want to know how to edit and stuff like this. I've been doing it for a long time, so I think it's cool to kind of do the tutorials for you guys. So yeah. Any suggestions? Put them down in the comments, what you want to see. Portraits, do you want to see more on graduating filters, the brush tools, how to work the tone curve, also the RGB in the tone curve as well. I didn't do that in this video, but that can give your photos some really cool looks. More on the split toning, more on the HSL, all these things, either separately or all in one video, whatever you want guys. Tutorials are going to come. Hope you enjoyed it, and guys, do practice. As I said earlier, just go through all the tabs and mess about with them. That's the best way to learn what they do and how your editing style will come together. Yep, so that's it guys. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.